On this week's South Bank Show, a profile of one of the three tenors, the life and near death of Jose Carreras. Hello. A couple of years ago, the most popular singers in the world were pop stars like Madonna and Paul McCartney. These days, you have to add three operatic tenors to the list: Pavarotti, Domingo and Jose Carreras. Since they gave a concert together in Rome last year, their records have topped not only the classical, but also the pop music charts. Like Caruso before them, they're feted by royalty and by heads of state. This is remarkable enough. But in the case of one of them, it's almost miraculous. In 1987, Jose Carreras was rushed to hospital with acute leukemia and given a 10% chance of survival. No one even stopped to wonder if he'd ever sing again. And yet he not only conquered the disease, but took his career, people agree, to new heights. Chris Hunt's South Bank Show special tells his story for the first time on television. Filmed in 5 countries, with exclusive coverage of 2 of his major concerts this year, Carreras' life is described not only by himself, but by his friends like Pavarotti, Montserrat Caballé, Placido Domingo, Claudio Bardo and Sir Colin Davis. It's the classic tale of the boy made good, from the poorer end of Barcelona, where he was born in 1946, to the arena of Caracalla in Rome last year for the most famous concert of our time.
I think he's a solar voice, a great musician by instinct, and he's at the top of all, a great guy. And I like him very much. I consider him my younger brother, and I think he's the last of the great tenor living in this day.
Granada, Manola, cantada, el copias preciosa. No tengo otra cosa que darte que un ramo de rosas de suave fragancia que le diera Marco a la Virgen morena. Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres, de sangre, de sol.
4 years ago, Jose Carreras was on his deathbed, ravaged by leukemia. His struggle back to health and the stage was motivated mostly by an overwhelming need to perform.
These 3 hours there, you are untouchable. And finally you realize, not only as an artist, but as a man as well.
Granada, tu tierra está llena de lindas mujeres de sangre.
His whole life has been a tale of victory against the odds. The story begins in a cinema in Barcelona in 1953.
But remember, I do not swallow the insults.
I was 6 years old, and we went to see the great Caruso. And I have been, from the moment that this man appeared in the screen, I was absolutely fascinated by his personality and his voice and all the story, you know. And then I start the day after singing at home the songs or the arias, particularly the La Donna Immobile from Rigoletto, the way I heard it in the movie. I know it sounds odd, but I always wanted since that day to become a singer. And my parents, and particularly my mother, she thought that, well, then I have a kind of intuition for the music, so why not send this boy to a music teacher?
I em vaig posar a tocar na, 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 na. I ell es va posar a cantar. I ell cantant Rigoletto, i jo acompanyant-lo amb l'orgue, em vaig mullar a la falda. I jo em vaig emocionar tant a sentir aquell nen que cantava que em vaig mullar el vestit.
And we went to a recording studio in Barcelona, very rudimentary recording studio at that time. I was 7 years old. And I sang a very popular Catalan song, and then La Donna Immobile, of course. And I remember that La Donna Immobile, I did not sing the high B, because already then I had a lot of troubles with my top notes. And I sang it the way it is written by Verdi. I mean, the cadenza just going down, which is, I think, very musical.
By a stroke of good fortune, an opera producer looking to cast a boy soprano 3 years later remembered this broadcast. He brought the young Carreras to the Grand Liceo Opera House to play the role of the boy who introduces a puppet show to Don Quixote in Manuel de Falla's opera Master Peter's Puppet Show. For the young boy, it was a dream come true.
Doncs ell ho cantava igual. Si per aquest sentit jo no en penes vaig... Mira, no, aquí no respiris. No, aquí. Però pel de més, si ell ho feia igual que el disco, igual, exacte.
In In most productions, an adult soprano sings off stage while a boy mimes. But here was an 11-year-old with a voice good enough to sing unaided at a great opera house. It wasn't as if he'd had a musical or privileged background. His father was a policeman, his mother a hairdresser, and he lived in a working-class suburb of Barcelona. He took less interest in music than in the rough and tumble of a normal boy's upbringing.
En Josep era molt eixerit, molt tremendo i molt mogut. Els veïns de casa meva, ell, en companyia del meu fill, que eren inseparables, feia moltes tremaliadures. Per la galeria tiraven agulles d'estendre baix i només molestaven. Però els veïns ja sabien el dia que aquest nen venia a donar classe. Per què? De les finestres i galeries el sentien.
I know you are going to laugh, but I was a very good basketball player, and basketball was my sport. I was a playmaker, of course. And, for many, many years, for about 12 years, I played basketball. I played also some football.
Bueno, que ens agradava molt el futbol i anàvem molt al futbol al camp del Barça, i pues, clar, era el que en diuen aquí, culer, com son pare.
L'anècdota va arribar al final. Troy va ordenar a
Football has remained an abiding passion for Carreras, who went on to become a director of the very successful Barcelona Football Club. On occasions, he still finds time to appear in charity matches. In Salzburg in 1989, he played in a celebrity game alongside the other Spanish tenor, Placido Domingo. It was their mutual love of the game that eventually led to the Three Tenors concert.
Catari, che me dice ste parole amare, perché mi parli a cuore, ma dormiente Catari, non te scurda, che t'ha dato cuore Catari, non te Catari, Catari, che bene a dicere, stu parla che a me da spasamento, non c'è piazza sto dolore mio, tu non c'è pienza tu, non te ne
The person who fostered his youthful love of music was his mother, but when he was still young, she developed cancer.
She was the most energetic and tough woman if needed, and the sweetest and tender at the same time. I don't know, I'm afraid I lost her when I was too young. I was only 18 years old, she was 50 years old. And probably she was in a very high percentage responsible for me that I'm an opera singer. And you can be sure, and I don't want it all to be sentimental, but every time I go on stage, before to going into stage, I have a very quick thought for her.
non c'è
Until he was 17, Carreras learned music at the Municipal Conservatorium alongside his normal schooling. During this time, he became increasingly sure in his own mind that he wanted to be a singer, whether or not his family would agree.
I think the commendable thing about the boy is that he became fascinated in music, and he really did learn it properly. I mean, and he went to the conservatorium and he played the piano, and he even has pointed out that he did his counterpoint and attempt at harmony and composing. And that foundation is essential if a singer is really going to be a very good one.
When I was 18, 19 actually, I went to the university and I did 2 courses of chemistry, because my brother and my brother-in-law, they start a small company of cosmetics, and that we thought, well, maybe if his singing and his career does not take place, at least he will be, you know, these kind of things that family advise you to do. And I did it, but then the moment to decide or to go on with my vocation and my singing and my music, or to go on with chemistry arrived, and I made that decision, and I have to say, with the support of, entirely support of my family.
All piano, and this?
Piano and...
Carreras worked hard at his music. While at university, he was taught by the man who tutored the other famous Catalan tenor, Giacomo Haragal. He then studied with a dedicated amateur called Juan Ruax. Then, as now, he took rehearsals very seriously.
Mescetemi il vino, tu sola bicchiero tra gaudi terreni, non sei menzognero, govita dai sensi, dolcezza del cuore. Good.
He's always favoured the bel canto songs, which are suited to the lyric nature of his voice, by composers like Bellini and Verdi.
Mescetemi il vino, tu solo bicchiero fra la dia papia la be papia la be papira pa pam pampira da triattino di da. Amai m'infiammaro 2 sguardi fatali, credei l'amicizia fanciulla senz'ali, follia de prima anni, fantasma illusor, mescetemi il vino, dolcezza del cor. Ok?
Ritardando. Mi dato il fado.
Follia de prima anni, fantasma illusor, mescetemi il vino, dolcezza del cuore. L'amico, l'amante col tempo ne fugge, e tu non paventi chi tutto distrugge, l'età non t'offende, t'accresce virtù. Sfiorito l'aprile, cadute le rose, tu sei che d'allegri le cure noiose, sei tu che ne trovi la gioia che fu, l'età non t'offende, t'accresce virtù. Chi meglio risana del cor le ferite, meglio risana del cor le ferite, se tu non ci desse la provvida vita sarebbe immortal l'umano dolore. Mescetemi il vino.
Barcelona is a wealthy city with a rich cultural tradition and a history of producing world-class tenors from the 18th century right down to today. Barcelona was also the home of the singer whom some regarded as the world's finest soprano, Montserrat Caballé. She heard the young Carreras and cast him, fresh out of university, alongside her in his official debut at the Liceo in 1970.
You can imagine what it is for a young singer. I was 23 years old. When somebody asks you if you want to do a role like Gennaro in Lucrezia Borgia, which is a beautiful role for a young tenor, with Montserrat Caballé. And there start a real relation.
To me, it was like a little brother, like a child. It looks so young and it looks so decided, but at the same time, it looks shy, and all that impression. I was feeling very, very tender for him.
In the first act, Gennaro fell asleep, and she comes out, Lucrezia, and sings this beautiful Come bello quell'incanto. I'm sorry, Montserrat. And I remember being so nervous, almost shaking in the first night, and hearing this voice singing the way she sang that, and feeling already calmed down after hearing her singing. You're 23 years old, you're singing with the #1 soprano in the world, in your debut, in your town, in your city, in the opera house where you have seen for the first time an opera that have so many sentimental links with. So you can imagine how one's feel.
His success at the Liceo led to invitations from abroad, first to London's Festival Hall, and then in 1972, when he was 26, to the New York City Opera. He'd recently married, but he left his wife at home while he travelled to further his career, a pattern which was to repeat itself over many years. He debuted in Tosca, an opera which remains a favourite of his. After New York, his career took off. Within less than a year, he debuted in major roles in many of the world's leading opera houses, La Scala, Vienna, Munich, and Covent Garden in La Traviata in 1974, playing the male lead Alfredo in front of an illustrious audience.
So I was able to be at the performance, and I was immediately really very, very, very touched by the beauty of the voice and the sincerity and of the phrasing, and really the refreshing sound, you know, that a tenor was bringing into the music.
Anybody who makes his debut at the Royal Opera House is a very important date, in not only his career, but in his life. But something turned out at the end rather funny, but something that could have been rather tragic. And that was that in the second act, in the big aria, Alfredo's aria, I was singing Dei miei bollenti spiriti papapapira, and I see the general administrator of the Royal Opera House walking on stage, Sir John Tooley. And I thought, my goodness, I'm not singing that bad. Something must be wrong. And no, it happened that there it was a bomb alarm. And he kindly asked the audience to go out of the house and to wait for the police to check and so on. But, you know, I heard, oh, we should better walk slowly to the exit, and maybe we can finish our drink in the crush bar before. And, you know, that was, for me, it was very, very, very surprising, because I never thought that somebody can react in such a civilized way.
Carreras had now arrived on the international scene. Over the next 10 years, he was to travel constantly, consolidating his career. His lyric voice and good looks typecasting him as the romantic hero of opera. He carved out his niche in these dashing and energetic roles, La Bohème, Werther, Don Carlos, Tosca, and became one of the world's most popular singers. But the role he most made his own, and he's now played it over 100 times, was Don José, the jealous lover of Bizet's Carmen.
He's a naive personality, a noble personality at the beginning, a man in love, a man that discover loves, a man that has to face a very dramatic situation. At the end, it arrives to his self-destruction, you know, because of these women. This is the role. If you ask me what role you would like to sing from all the operas, which role you would like to sing on stage, that I would say Don José, for sure.
Pour la dernière fois,
José gives the most wonderful, tattered performance of tearing the inside of the character out and really throwing all the internal turmoil of Don José and giving it to the public.
Somehow you have to be a little bit possessive. Not because you don't trust this person or whatever, that happens also, but because only the fact that this person is smiling for somebody else, that can be even a friend or a girlfriend or whatever, you have already to be jealous, and this smile is not for you. I mean, something of this kind. But I think this is kind of jealousy that is somehow positive.
Whatever role he was playing, he would identify with that role totally. Whether it would be Don José in Carmen, or Samson, or Barbe Masco, Tosca, I mean, that made no difference. And that's what got across to the public, I think, that this man actually meant what he was singing. He wasn't just putting on a bit of professional work. He was himself deeply involved in what he was doing.
Hello, Anna. How are you? Nice seeing you. Thanks a lot. Oh, 3 times.
Carreras' identification with the romantic hero was fueled by his onstage relationship with Montserrat Caballé.
It was a little accident. I lost my earpiece, and it's a long one, and he was giving me a big kiss, and I lose my thing and falls inside. And at once I feel his hand looking for the earring. And I do like this, and he says, "Your earring?" So I said, "Thank you."
Nel terzo palco a destra. E poi
This performance was in Tokyo, where Carreras' reputation had clearly gone before him.
I'd never seen so many hysterical and lovely Japanese virgins run after a fellow as they did after Carreras. He used to have to do hours of signing autographs after each performance. And the Japanese were normally so frightfully correct and polite. They shed everything in those terms and quite shamelessly scrambled over the cars and one another in order to get to the famous beautiful man.
Well, when he arrives, we usually have
if you just got like
so many
what they're like,
ladies here chasing after him.
So
we have to, as I say to Sandy, repel boarders.
Fine.
As soon as they know Carreras is in town, it's batten down the hatches, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah. Gee
What's they like?
Absolutely crazy. They hang about, just before he comes in, and they're all there with their hair all done up and, looking $1 million, you know what I mean? And then like, is he in yet? Is he in yet? And it's constant, they're
The phones never stop, do they?
Never stop, no.
You have to watch all the emergency doors. They're usually out here about 7, 8 in the morning, some of them.
I'm not at all afraid or to say that I'm a romantic man. It seems that in our society, to be romantic in our days, it's contemplated as being weak. You're not tough enough if you are romantic. You are not competitive enough. You are not aggressive enough, Thanks God, I don't agree in this point of view, and I consider myself a romantic man.
Che bella cosa una giornata sole, un'aria serena dopo una tempesta, bell'aria fresca, pareggiana festa, che bella cosa una giornata sole.
It's official. 1992 and all that is on its way. And here come the men from the Ministère to make sure we toe the line. And hello, they've started already. Watch out, MCC. Here come the EEC. Yes, it's directive number 3972. You don't bowl anymore. You bool. Ah, well, down at the Dog and Canard, at least there's one import we're finding easier to swallow. Heineken Export. Matured a little longer to taste a little stronger. It's a smooth one, all right. Yes, Britain agrees. Heineken Export really is a great 0.57 of a litre.
Would you believe bran could be so light? Would you believe bran could be so crisp? Would you believe light, crisp Kellogg's bran flakes? So light they'll lift your whole day.
Have you ever wondered why the sky isn't green and why kettles fur up? Or why swallows come back to Capistrano and ice cubes aren't always clear? Or whether fish have dreams? And why tea sometimes has a film on top of it? Have you ever wondered about the meaning of water? Have you ever wondered why you're not a brighter person?
What has she done to this room?
It's called renovation.
More like demolition. What would her father say?
Well, at least you can't change the coffee.
Good morning, gentlemen. Kenko is famous for ground coffee, but times change. And I want us to be equally respected for Kenko Instant. It's made from the same quality beans.
Is this wise, ma'am?
Have you tried it?
I don't have to. We could never produce instant coffee to this standard.
Oh, but we can, Jenkins. You're drinking it.
Kenko, everything we know about coffee in an instant.
Du pain, du vin, du boursin. Do you?
Hello again. British Gas have been inviting people to ask questions about British Gas, so I've just dropped in on Tony and Dean here to find out what they think. Hi! Dad! That's Scott. Yes. Right. Dean?
And that's Dean, yeah.
Hello, Dean. I'm impressed with your football skills. Do you use gas at home?
Yes, we do, yeah. We use it for cooking and for heating.
What's the main problem? What was your main gripe?
Well, with us having 2 children, we'd like to know what British Gas are doing for the future.
So you want to know about the future, Tony? Yeah. Come with me, and Dean, bring your ball. You might just need it. Come on.
If you have a question for British Gas, call this free phone number now, and we may surprise you.
Of all the top 10 building societies, there's only one that's free to give independent advice on pensions, insurance, and investments. Bradford and Bingley.
The Spanish Civil War of the late 30s was a formative influence upon Carreras' life and his work. Republican Barcelona was the capital of Catalonia and suffered badly as it fell to the fascist army. The repressive regime that Franco then imposed directly affected Carreras' family.
Well, my father was a school teacher until the Civil War in Spain, and he was fighting in the Republican side. So afterwards, he was not allowed anymore to teach for, let's say, for political reasons or whatever. I mean, it's not that somebody said, no, you are not going to teach, but they put him apart and they never got a job as a teacher anymore. But unfortunately, in these days in Spain, things work this way. It's essential for us to keep our roots and our identity. What I said always is that more Catalan they let me be, more Spanish I will feel.
Until 1975, even the Catalan language was suppressed and its regional anthems banned. This has made Carreras strongly aware of his identity as a Catalan, and he makes a point of including Catalan songs in his repertoire.
Galta suavi plena es ben dolce da posar. Entre dos silencis, besilenciós, com vares deixar-nos tremolant tots e dos dins la nit quieta. Amb deixos ardents de la migdiada i dels terrals vents. Una flonja galta ruixada amb serena sota de ma boca stati a salvar pro la fugosa nit gaga serena. Come la pudore
This cultural legacy led to Carreras developing a particular interest in political justice. He wanted to play those revolutionary roles in opera whose principles reflect his own.
Anything which is against justice, social justice, or it's against myself, or anything which is against freedom or democracy, it's against myself, it's against the society. So this is inside myself in this character.
As Carreras moved into his 30s, he began adding political roles to his repertoire. He first played André Chénier in 1979, a real French aristocrat who supported the revolution.
Here we have the hero, you know, not the romantic hero, but the hero, the man really involved politically with full of idealism. This is an opera that any tenor in the world would like to sing.
In André Chénier, the hero is the tenor, and he gets the best aria. This is also the case with most of the operas in Carreras' repertoire.
Well, the role of Desgrieux in Manon Lescaut is one of the most beautiful tenor roles. And Calaf has, of course, the most famous tune, Nessun Dorma. In Tosca you got L'Uccello e Stelle or Recondita Armonia, and in I don't know, in Butterfly you do not have the best tune. The soprano has it.
Generally is the romantic. Generally is the guy who has the best arias, or at least the arias that people knows more than every other. I think unless somebody is a very low voice, in the shower in the morning they all imitate the tenor.
Well, it's very simple. The tenor voice is the voice that belongs to the man who gets the girl in the opera, and it's also the man who gets the higher fee in the opera. Being a bass and a baritone, I resent that very much. But I really must say that in Jose's case, I really don't mind.
But this for sure is I'm not a dramatic tenor or a Helden tenor, or I'm not a leggero, coloratura tenor, that's for sure. The rest, I am not able to judge. I think people, audiences and critics, they should judge my type of voice or the quality of my voice, if any, or whatever.
Cabello más sutil que tienes en tu garrafa in tu casa, chiquilla quisiera ser para besarte la boca cuando fueras a beber.
As his career progressed through the 80s, he increasingly moved beyond opera into concerts. He'd become well enough known to fill major venues with a solo performance.
In a recital, you are naked, with your tails, and your piano, and your pianist. It's fascinating for me. It's a very different way to approach an audience, but not only that. With recitals, you can reach parts of the world and kind of audiences that we would never be able to do with opera, because in their city, in their area, there are not opera companies. And it's very, very gratifying.
Cologne Cathedral Square was one of the venues of a European concert tour that Carreras undertook in the summer of 1991.
We are in the road at least 11 months a year. You are away from your family, you are away from people you love. You are away from actually your things, your identity in a way. And on top, when we arrive to the places to perform, we need a lot of concentration. We need to be fit physically. So it's not that we can do much more than rehearse, concentrate, and sleep.
The demanding schedule was compounded by difficulties caused by his own popularity. No concert halls were big enough to satisfy the public demand for tickets, so an army of workmen had to construct open-air arenas in the biggest spaces in the towns that he visited. Rehearsals took place amid interruptions and rain as the seating was constructed in front of him.
Mi han detto che domani Nina vi fate sposa ed io vi canto ancora la serenata. La nella valle ombrosa, là nei deserti piani, hello, cantata. Oh, quante volte l'ho ricantata.
The Dresden Philharmonic accompanied Carreras to a different town each week, where he rehearsed in conditions that did nothing to protect his voice.
Foglia di rosa, o fior di amaranto, se ti fai sposa, ti starò sempre accanto. Io ti sto sempre accanto, foglia di rosa. Domani avrete intorno feste, sorrisi e fiori, ne penserete ai nostri vecchi Ma sempre giorno e notte piena di passione verrà gemendo a voi la mia canzone. Verrà gemendo.
Apart from concerts, Carreras has made a number of recordings. Though at first these were all opera, from the early 1980s, he's broadened his range.
Of course, an opera singer is trained to project. I mean, the tradition of opera is that a man can fill a hall without any microphonic aid. You know, this is how they used to do it. This is how Caruso was. And the great tenors can do this. And Carreras can do this. Pavarotti and Domingo can do this. Carreras' voice is lighter, perhaps, than most. He's got but that, in fact, is a tremendous advantage for me, because he's able to control the very gentle notes, the very soft notes, without any wide vibratos. I'm not suggesting he croons, but he's able to put over a song without tremendous amount of over-expressionism, if you know what I mean. He doesn't have to build everything in order to get it across.
Cordero de Dios que quita los pecados del Ten compasión de
His best-known recording from the popular repertoire was West Side Story in 1984.
This is something that somehow you can already consider a classic, not anymore anything to do with crossover, but a classic, a modern classic. And that was a very, very special experience for me, to work with Bernstein and to have the opportunity to work for the first time in my life, not only with a wonderful conductor, but with the composer of a piece. You know? And that made things a little bit difficult at a certain point, but it was an absolutely wonderful experience.
There's no place to start. Bar 6. All the beautiful sounds of the world to sing. A word. All right? Bar 6.
118.
Play. I wrote. Where are we? Bar 48. Carreras, I'll never stop saying. Carreras. You know where? Just before you say...
When you are in the proceeding of making a recording, and there is so much pressure and tension because of the time, of the schedule, of the 3-hour session, of the unions, which I respect and I understand. No, absolutely. And it is normal that there is not a lot of passion around. What it is what I said, tension and pressure. So at a certain point, this is becoming a little bit hectic.
Maria, 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 Maria. I've just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I've just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a song can be. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying. so kind. I would like to do these 3 bars alone. I mean,
122. The
just
rest.
to start here, please.
Oh, come on. You do it wonderfully. Don't worry.
Pepe, would you rather do this tomorrow?
Well,
because with session's over.
Oh, well, then. Okay.
All right,
That doesn't-
now look, everyone, for tomorrow evening, looks like you'll be free. If we need anything, we'll do it after, a little after 5. We'll go overtime tomorrow. So you're free tomorrow evening.
I can hardly believe it.
Oh, God, I have such problems.
And just a little extra zip. Get them while they're hot. Hot Wings, new from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I'm a secret lemonade drinker. Always. I'm trying to give it up, but it's one of those nights. Always lemonade. I'm a secret lemonade drinker. Always lemonade. Always lemonade.
Big savings on your Christmas shopping with this week's Daily Mirror. Save £65 at Toys R Us, £50 at Champion Sport, £170 at Curry's, £60 at Halfords, £55 at Index. Plus, the 7 deadly sins. How to avoid them and stay happily married. Buy the Big Value Daily Mirror tomorrow.
Achoo! As soon as you feel you're starting a cold, reach for soothing Beecham's Hot Lemon. It's the hot lemon cold remedy with the Beecham's formula. And real lemon. So it relieves cold symptoms like headaches and sore throats quickly. At the start of a cold, put a smile back on your mug with Beecham's Hot Lemon.
In July 1987, Carreras went to Paris to play the lead role Rodolfo in a film of La Bohème.
Moteur. Annonce.
Fa tanto sorride, mi volso passare, me casante il fatale male, e uccidere dunque.
Well, I was shooting La Bohème, and I felt better enough to go to the hospital for a checkup. 48 hours later, I knew that what I had is a lymphoblastic leukemia. I was 40 years old, and in a very, allowed me to say, successful, having a very successful life in every aspect. And it was, of course, it was a shock.
He was given a 1 in 10 chance of surviving. This cancer of the bone marrow, at the stage it had got to, is usually fatal. The treatments he would have to undergo to stand any chance of cure would be painful and debilitating.
They say Jose is
in a hospital in Paris. He's very sick, so sick that maybe he's going to die. I could believe it. So I wanted to go there, but they told me with a special plane he comes to Barcelona. And the day he arrives was late. And I went to the hospital next day. And when I arrived, I realized they put me all that special clothes, masks, and everything. So I went in the room, and he was lying on the bed. He was looking at me. So sweet. He was giving me the hand. I take his hand, and we look at each other, saying nothing. And I say, I don't want to make you tired. I come tomorrow again. And he says, you sure? I say, I'm positive, every day. That's why I went out. It was a difficult moment. The most difficult moment for him and all the people that love him so much.
Inclús em va impressionar tant que em vaig posar a plorar de seguida perquè, bueno, ho sentia moltíssim. I demanava a Déu de que allò, pues, a veure si fes un miracle i es pogués, diríem, solucionar ràpidament, perquè era un gran estorb per la seva carrera, pel cant.
For me, the wall came down because 2 years ago, 2 years before, we have a cousin who died of leukemia. And I know it, all the situation of this illness. I was with him all the first night, and was a very, very special night for us, because we talk about all our life and all our special family love.
I had the support of my family. I never doubted. They're wonderful. And I had something that I did not expect, honestly. And this wave of affection and love I received from people all over the world. And I really think that was fundamental in my recovery. I didn't want to disappoint all this love, all this incredible support I got.
And I went to see him, and of course, I went and I faced the reality of, of the way he has been suffering, of the sickness. And but fortunately, we were able to talk already. Jose has such a strength during all the sickness, and I never have any doubts that he was going to come through, and that he was really going to be back.
A primera hora d'aquesta tarda, el tenor Josep Carreras ha sortit...
Carreras spent 10 months in hospital, undergoing intensive treatment in Barcelona and several operations in a specialist clinic in Seattle. He refused standard anesthetics because of the risk of damaging his voice. He emerged a fragile shadow of his previous self, but he'd won a remission, buoyed up by the 100,000 cards his fans had sent, as well as the support of his colleagues, rivals, family, and friends.
When he came in the building, he looked at the room. He saw me, and he came to me. We have unarmed each other, saying nothing. I looked his eyes, and I saw that inside was everything the same. So I knew it, he's back.
First of all, I was fighting for my life. And I knew that if one day I can succeed and I can overcome such situation, I'm going to sing again.
2 months later, Carreras took his first steps back into the world of opera by joining the audience in his local Liceo Opera House for a performance that starred his friends Renato Scotto and Placido Domingo. But Domingo heard that he was there and had him brought onto the stage at the curtain call.
La bienvenida a esa gloria de España, que es mi compañero y gran amigo José Carreras, que está en la
Jose came to the performance of Fedora. Of course, we brought him into the stage, so the public really gave him the most unbelievable ovation, and everybody. It was such an emotional night with Renata Scotto singing there, and with all of us on the stage, and for him to again step on his stage, on the stage of the Teatro Liceo. It was marvelous, and it will be unforgettable because it was such an emotional day that I think that day he has won a big battle, because he was, for the very first time, on a stage again after such a long time. And it was the stage, indeed, that was the stage of his debut, his Teatro Liceo.
On July 21st, 1988, Carreras held a comeback concert in Barcelona. 150,000 people came out to see him. Queen Sofia of Spain was in the front row, alongside an array of political dignitaries. To everyone's relief, his voice had not been damaged by the leukemia. Carreras was back, and the crowds applauded his courage as much as his singing. Other comebacks followed in Paris, in Italy, and at the Vienna Opera House, where 5,000 people also watched it from a giant screen in the square. The encores alone went on for an hour. But Carreras also had a life to rebuild. His marriage of 20 years had failed, but his daughter Julia and son Alberto had become even more important to him. And as he recuperated, he'd more time than ever before to call on his father, his brother and sister, all of whom live locally in Barcelona. Then as he became stronger, he gradually renewed his career. Among other concerts and the occasional opera performance, he made a recording of Peter and the Wolf with his friend Claudio Abbado, and they made plans for future performances, the Verdi Requiem and another Carmen to be staged at the Vienna State Opera in December 1991. Carreras also accepted an invitation from Abbado in his function as president of the Salzburg Festival to give a recital in the main concert hall, in front of the most discerning audience of them all. This was to be another milestone for Carreras, who had not sung in Salzburg since his illness.
This is the most prestigious music festival in the world. Therefore, it's an honor for me. And I'm going to sing a recital, a program that's going to include many new things. I believe that an artist has to try to include new and things every time you sing a recital in the same city.
I think for Jose, going back to Salzburg is a fantastic thing for him. Is a victory in the classic music for antonomasia. Cannot be more classic than that. Cannot be more prestigious than that. And he sang beautifully, and so that is even better, because the most important thing is to sing beautifully.
Now he was well and with his career renewed, Carreras wanted to repay the doctors who'd saved him and do something for other leukemia sufferers throughout the world. He enlisted the support of politicians and royalty in his own country and abroad to raise money for a new foundation.
He realized when he was in Seattle in that clinic that there were things that he could do if God gave him the chance. And it's at that time that he set his mind on starting a foundation. And I had the idea of helping Jose. And so we planned an evening here at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane called Jose Carreras and Friends.
I got always a phone call saying, please, Jose, whenever you like, you need me, whenever we can do something together, whenever you need me to sing alone for your foundation, please tell me, because I'll be only happy. But all of them, I can not say one more than the other. Nobody have said never no. So this is absolutely wonderful for me.
The concert raised $500,000 from ticket sales and television shows, but that was dwarfed by the receipts from another performance that Carreras arranged for his charity, which coincided with the 1990 World Cup.
The most important reason it was the Jose coming back to life, coming back to our world of opera. In an atmosphere of football, then all three of us likes very much, and we even were a football player when we were young.
And, you know, the plan was interesting. I think it was a very sportive and really exciting idea, and I accepted.
it was quite an easy idea, you know, to put the three of us together. And I suggested it. And then, from the very first moment, everybody of us agreed. So, and as well, Zuid Mehta, I mean, he was very happy and very excited with the idea. So we just work out the repertory. We had several meetings before the rehearsals, of course, already 1 year before. And everything went so smoothly and so easy, and it was absolutely a wonderful experience. Not only the event itself, you know, but all the preparation, all the talking, all the rehearsal. It was a kind of, I don't know, three boys doing what they really like most in life. You are for 10 months in hospital. You have a lot of time to think. You see things, the other dimension in life. And then you have time to think much more about your spirit, about the spiritual side of your life, about God, about religion, about faith. And you can arrive to certain conclusions. So therefore, I think that even in the most difficult, hard moments in your life, at the end, some very positive conclusion can arrive.
Carreras continues to work as hard as he's able. Apart from a full diary of concerts and operas, he's directing the music at the 1992 Barcelona Olympic Games. It's as if, having outfaced death, he's determined to do all he can in the time he has left.
Not a very exciting life, honestly.
From the Victoria Palace Theatre in London, and in the presence of Her Majesty the Queen and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, the Royal Variety Performance. Dinah Ross tops the bill, which features a salute to theatrical producer Cameron McIntosh, making this a night to remember. Next Saturday at 8, the Royal Variety Performance.
Every